righty, we'll get rolling here. Thank you for attending Digital Marketing Lessons Learned, Best Practices, What's Coming. This is a little bit of a combination of things. Before we get rolling, this QR code, which will appear a few times, you can actually download this right from our website, and there's a little button that says Download Presentation. So if you miss it now, it'll show up here a couple more times. All right, well, thank you for attending. I'll introduce myself, and then I'll do a little survey around the room to find out about your business as well. My name is Brian Robb. I've been in the digital advertising business for over 20 years. I founded a company called Digital Throttle. We are kind of an agency, kind of a project-based agency, exclusively in automotive, power sports, motorsports, off-road, boats, RVs, events, racetracks, race series, but we largely work in markets where there's an engine going. I used to call it dudes with engine, but I think that's a little sexist. We manage, on average, about 300 to 400 different digital campaigns a day across hundreds of clients on all types of platforms. So today is all about expressing what we do, what we've learned, and then some ideas that you might be able to take back to your own businesses. Before I started Digital Throttle in 2009, I ran digital advertising for SourceLink, Peterson. They owned all the magazines at the time, Hot Rod and Motor Trend. Anyone who's old enough to remember magazines. And before that, I was VP of Edelbrock. So I have been a PRI member since the second show, and I've been going to SEMA since 1990. So I got a lot of gray hair and road under my feet here. So before we keep going on, though, I'd like to do a little quick survey. How many of you are exhibitors that are taking a break from the floor? Handful, okay. How many of you are local businesses, retailers, installers, shops? Okay, good mix. How many of you are like e-commerce websites that are selling products to consumers or businesses? Okay, pretty good mix. So I get to, that means this seminar just went to 3 hours. No, I'm kidding. So I'll try to weave in there. I like to be really casual, so if you have a question, throw a hand up, interrupt me, throw something at me, that's fine. I really want you to leave this with at least 2 to 3 things that you want to jump on back at your business right away, or fix things that you might be doing now. All right, so what are we going to go through? We are going to talk about just digital in general. The fact that you're all here, I don't think I need to twist a lot of arms to tell you that digital advertising is where you're going to catch people, but I'll show you some stats that if you have somebody you need to convince back at the home office, this is a good deck to show them. We're going to talk about just kind of the building blocks. One of the things you don't want to do is jump into spending a lot of money on advertising without a few of these things done. We did not learn these until we realized we needed to do these. So a lot of these building blocks are just, they seem obvious now, but when you throw money at something and you realize it didn't work, we kind of learn from that. And I'll kind of interrupt now. There is no degree for digital advertising. There might be sessions and seminars. Most really good digital marketers have made a lot of mistakes. They've spent money in the wrong places. They've checked the wrong box on Facebook. So if you've done that, raise your hand. No. That's how it works. We've had, I did a seminar yesterday, and we had a $10,000 mistake in one day. Didn't repeat it, we learned from it. Hopefully that doesn't happen to you. But allow yourself to make mistakes, but just set up rules so that you don't let mistakes cost you tens of thousands of dollars, or even hundreds of dollars. We're going to talk about geographic targeting for the local businesses in here. This will be key, but even for nationwide international companies, knowing where to show your ad and how to do that, that's really key. Again, that's one of those lessons learned, so we'll talk about that. We're going to talk about all the ad options. It's kind of the fun stuff. We're going to show you pictures of ads, best practices in ad design, ad copy, and kind of good stuff. Then we're going to deep dive a little bit into Google, since that is the big monster out there, and then talk about social media. I'll give you a hint. Our average client spends half of their digital advertising on social media. So it's other than Google, well, Google and Facebook are kind of hand in hand with a lot of our clients. And then finally, I thought you'd like it, I put up some estimated costs. So I kind of looked at all the accounts that we run, and if you were going to spend $1,000, what would you get for each one of these platforms, both in impressions and clicks? So it might be useful. It varies, but if someone always asks, hey, what can I get for? I thought you might like to see that. Okay, so let's jump. All right, digital versus traditional. So first of all, traditional is things that you can hold and see without a screen. So magazines, newspapers, terrestrial radio. What's another one I'm missing? Outdoor banners. Versus digital. We all know what digital is. So if you look at it now, the average consumer spends about 8 to 8.5 hours a day looking at screens where there's an ad present. Anyone who's got kids under the age of 20, it's probably a lot higher than 8 hours. So that's the average, right? And you can kind of see the growth curve there. When I first started Digital Throttle, this curve was really kind of getting hockey stick. It's starting to settle, not because of lack of interest. There's just so many hours in the day we have, right? And so, but if you kind of look at it, keep in mind that if you look at traditional, I cut that out. If you look at traditional, the bulk of the time is on television. For most of us in this room, we would never advertise on linear TV or cable TV. So most of that 4 hours that you see here for traditional, like 2.5 of it is television. So as a marketer, the easiest way to answer, I don't like digital, is what else are you going to do? Where are the eyeballs? If you're a fisherman, you go where the fish are biting, and that's with some kind of screen. Okay, let's talk about the times spent in digital. So for social, no surprise, about 3 hours a day. Again, the younger you are, the more you spend per day. YouTube, about 1.5 hours a day. YouTube's my personal favorite, so I get to elaborate on that. Streaming audio, podcasts, Pandora, Spotify, that's almost 2 hours a day. The problem with streaming radio, which I'll talk about more, very few ad opportunities. A lot of the, XM radio doesn't have a lot of breaks. If you listen to, the reggae channel, you're not hearing commercials. So it's a little misleading in terms of a marketer goes. Connected television, there are a lot of opportunities, even for small clients. So connected TVs, YouTube is probably a great way to start, but you can get ads on Hulu, Netflix nowadays. So I think this will actually be a growth area for us. So you don't have to break the bank to have your ads seen in a local market. Your local cable company can help you there too. And then miscellaneous, I don't know what else is left, for it's about 1/2 hour a day. So that could be like maybe Xbox, Discord things. Well, I guess Discord, I don't know where Discord fits in this. Maybe social. So anyways, as you can see, lots of choices. That's one of the good things about digital. It's also one of the bad things about digital. So with so many choices, what do you need to do? Well, before you get started, you need to make sure that you're ready to measure, monitor, and make decisions with a lot of choices. Not just where your ad shows, but where your the different ad options and the ad styles that you have. Okay, so before you start, I almost said fart, here's like 4 or 5 building block things that you need to make sure you're ready for. Number 1, have a mobile awesome website, okay? 64% of your ads or higher, that's probably a low number now, those ads are going to be seen on mobile devices, okay? Keep that in mind as you're building ads. Don't have your designer who's got the 80-inch MacBook monitor obsess about ads, because it's going to be seen like that. 80% of your clicks are going to be on mobile phones. So where are they going to go? They're going to want to go somewhere where your site's mobile. So if you're not happy with your mobile site, all's not lost. I'm going to show you an example here of what we do for our clients. Think about, lesson learned number 1, a landing page. Advertising is different than your website. This is an example of one of our clients, UEM Pistons. Very detailed technical product, thousands of SKUs. It's really important for them to make sure that when you come to their website, you get the right piston kit for your engine. If you're an advertiser and you're just trying to get somebody interested in your new diesel piston line, that's too much right now. This is like the first date. You want to kind of introduce yourself to them, talk about your selling propositions, your features, your benefits. You want it to look like a flyer. You want it to be enticing. So what we do for clients like this, where their site is much more transactional or more part number oriented, is that we build these simple landing pages. And these landing pages they sit on their existing site, but they look like a flyer. So if you were going to ask your designer to say, hey, give me a flyer, I'm going to PRI, and it was like a 2-page flyer, take that flyer and just ask somebody to turn it into a landing page that's got bullets, videos, testimonials, pictures, downloads of flyers. Again, people clicking on your ad, this is the first time they've met you. So the visuals and just that introduction is going to be so much more important. Anyone utilizing landing pages now? Great. It's really important too if you have a business like UEM that has motorcycle, racing, street, diesel. You go to their website, it has to fit everybody. You can make a landing page. In this case, this was for their V-twin piston line. You went onto it going, oh, I've got a Harley. There's a picture of a Harley. Boom, we caught him for a second. Oh, I see all the pistons. Oh, that's my engine. Got him for another second. So think of that on your ads. Most of your ads, other than your e-commerce type ads, which we'll talk about, most of your ads are that first date over coffee. So have your website ready to accept that. Number 2, know where you want to show your ads. Every business is different. Every racetrack is different. Every race organization is different. We have some racetracks that advertise 10 miles around their track. Some of them that go out 100. Some of them that go 500 for like motorcycle races because guys like to ride. First thing to do is go to your website analytics, find out where most of your traffic is, and make sure that you keep your ads reasonably in that area, especially for your local businesses. This one makes a key point. This client here, I can't see without my glasses. One of our clients, their site traffic is kind of upside down from actually the population that's out there. So I gave you a link on the deck here. This is actually population links by state. You can kind of see it. One of the big lessons we learned was there are a lot of car fans in New York City, not a lot of cars. So why would you want to advertise in New York City? Huge population, it always shows up on the top 10. They physically can't buy your product. Dumb. So little things like that. Again, digital, if you were looking for the home run today, there are no like one thing you do and boom, you're a millionaire, go sit on a beach. Digital is all about a lot of little things. For a baseball analogy, it's a lot of singles. Tick, 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 tick. And you're just trying to avoid not doing silly things. So making sure your ads appear in places that make sense for your market is going to save you some money. Number 3, because you're going to want to advertise on social media, make sure your social media pages are in good shape. Make sure that at a very least, you don't have a post from 3 years ago. We gave you kind of a good, better, best scenario. So a good site, let's say you don't want to update it all. You don't want to do it all. At least have some product shots. Have some customer vehicles. Have your contact information. Just have it look like, hey, if I click on the ad, instead of clicking on the ad to go to your site, I go to your Facebook page. It looks like it's being maintained and it's reasonably there. A better one would be, hey, get some lifestyle photos, even employees having lunch. Event stories. If you're at PRI, hey, I'm at PRI. Things like that. 1 or 2 posts a week. Just make it look healthy. A lot of companies will follow you on social media before they buy. I'm a big snow skier. I live in Lake Tahoe, Nevada. Before I spend a lot of money on something, I'm following the company because I want to just hear what they're about. So don't forget that. Don't forget that. Best, build a community. Get people engaged, post funny things, stories, post other companies. Make it just part of your kind of daily cup of coffee. If you do any of these, your ads will seem more relevant and your ads will work great. The worst thing you want to do is have somebody do social advertising. They go to your site and it's got like the placeholder Facebook images on there. So you want it to look like, hey, I care enough to do this. Okay, the next bit. Oh, sorry, question. That's a great question. I don't know if there is. The question is there a tool to like monitor your social? I think they do. There's a lot of black box on SEO rankings and volume and popularity. I think it's one of them. But to answer, probably that's the SEO seminar. In digital, as those of you know, you have your IT designers. There's like all these lanes, I'd like to think of them like contractors in a house. You got your electrician, plumber, drywall guy. We all kind of know what each other does, but we don't do it. We don't do SEO. We don't do email marketing. We don't do organic social. Everything we do at Digital Throttle's paid media. And so that's, hopefully I didn't turn a couple of you off there. Before I jump into the next section, which was my seminar yesterday, here is actually a QR to that session. So if you downloaded this flyer, this is already there, and I gave you the bit.ly link to it. The big thing about measuring success. So if you're going to spend $4,000 or $5,000 or more a month, you really need to get good at measuring ads, measuring the impact on your website. So this seminar yesterday was all about how to set up your systems and your sites and tips and tricks on how to do that. I'm going to go over just a few that you should absolutely do no matter what. Yesterday got a little wonky. It got pretty technical if you really wanted to be a ninja. But if you do the things that I'll recommend here, you'll be in good shape to spend a couple thousand a month and sleep well at night. The first one is Google Analytics 4. Who loves Google Analytics 4? One. You're weird. I said yesterday, a lot of my gray hair came from GA4. It's here. We got to get used to it. Anyone who's looked into Google Analytics, they might have noticed it stopped tracking. A lot of sites it stopped right away. Even our big clients it stopped tracking in the last couple weeks. If you have not upgraded GA4, and if all you did is accept what Google told you to do, go to this webinar. We've got 2 webinars with Clark, who's our GA4 expert, and there's some little tips and tricks on getting your GA4 set up the way you should. For instance, Google Analytics 4 only will track data for 2 months unless you go in and find this little magic button and you switch it to 14 months. So you'll try to want to compare February to November. November's data will be gone unless you've made that edit. And if you don't do that edit now, it starts the day you flip the switch. It won't go back and record it. So if you haven't, little things like that. So recommendation, there's actually a slide linked on here when you get the deck. If you go to the scan, you can actually see, and he gives you literally screenshots, go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Really recommend you do it. But if you're going to spend money on Google Analytics 4, you or somebody on your team needs to know how to use this tool because that's how you're going to measure success. I spent $1,000 in Facebook. What did it do for me? Did I get sales? Did I not get sales? So before you get serious about it, this used to be something that we didn't pay a lot of attention to back in 2008, 9, 10, 11. More of our clients that are e-commerce clients, more of our clients that make appointments on their site, they demanded that we have metrics. They wanted to know more than just clicks. Not every click is valuable. And so a lot of what we're talking about next is, can we measure, did I get that? Can we measure those conversions? So that's what GA4 is going to help you do. One way to make life easy is find a way to have the data that you collect automatically come into your system. Google has a free tool called Looker. Looker used to be called Google Data Studio. You can plug it into your analytics. You can plug it into Facebook. You can plug it into your Google Ads, and it will pull that data and put it into a nice summary for you so that you don't have to build all these spreadsheets. You can just get a cup of coffee, hit the update button, and all that data comes in. Even better, it's free, so that's best. Even better, you can go to Looker and choose little templates that you like. So if you are a PPC client, you can choose this template, and it'll just pull all that data in for you. So it's really phenomenal. It doesn't take a whole lot of energy to set up or to find someone to set it up for you. But again, if you're spending money on digital and you're looking at just spreadsheets, you're putting a lot of time into building those spreadsheets. This will take a lot of that time and put it where it should, which is evaluating and looking at the data. One of the worst things we used to do is we used to pull spreadsheets. We'd spend hours and hours building spreadsheets. We'd be fatigued, and we wouldn't look at the data as close as we should. We didn't look at trends because we had spent like half the morning pulling data together, and then we're like, oh, I got 14 calls I got to return, and we wouldn't look at the analytics. That's a bad lesson. So try to find a way to automate analytics so that you can be smart and just look at it. Okay, if you're doing ads now and you're not using UTMs, you're hurting yourself, especially with Google Analytics 4. Google Analytics, the old analytics would kind of help you see your ads. GA4, if you don't use UTMs on every ad that you place, those results will be invisible to you largely. So Google has a free tool called the UTM Builder. You say, I want this ad to link to thesite.com, and I want it to say it's the blue ad on Google. You fill in all this stuff, and you get a URL that looks like this at the bottom. Everything after the question mark does absolutely zero. Doesn't do a thing other than talk to Google Analytics. And it tells it, here's where I came from. Here's what I did on your site. And those are really the two things it tells you. It can do more. But here's where I came from, and here's what I did. And now you can start making choices. And the UTMs feed right into Google Analytics. So have a UTM builder. Always use that. You should do that like immediately. We also keep track. One of the things that we used to not do a good job of is we have one big spreadsheet now where we keep track of all the advertising. We don't just go into Google Ads and throw things in there. We have a spreadsheet that says, okay, I spent this much money in November on Google Ads from this date to this date, and we give each one of them a unique number. We keep that tracking because what Google Analytics does not know is how much you spent. I got 14 sales. Well, if you spend $10,000, that might not be really great. If you spend $100, that's great. So the spreadsheet allows you to put in, here's what I got, and here's what I spent. Because when you get into advanced decision making, you want to know ratios. I spent and I got this, and I spent and I got that. So having a spreadsheet just to kind of build it out. So on this download, you can click on here. I just set up like a mock spreadsheet that we learned to build over time to help you keep track of that. Finally, and we'll get into the fun stuff. Finally, your website and your social traffic is the best source of audience targeting you'll ever find. Right now, someone who's on your website, you can use that data to find more people like them. Facebook allows you to build what's called a lookalike audience, which is they ingest all this traffic from your social pages and your website, and they'll go, hey, there's another million people that are kind of like these people that come to your site. Why don't you start advertising to them? You can also do it, hey, they went to this page, find me a lookalike for this section. So if you're nervous about, wow, man, Facebook's got 1 billion people, who do I target? Using the data that you already own on your website and your social pages, it's the best lesson, and we've only really been doing this about the last 4 years. We used to think we had to go out and just find people and have like these brainstorming sessions. And then the technology improved such that Facebook and Google track everything that's happening on your website or your social pages, and they help you build suggested audiences to get started with. And it's really powerful. In general, when our lookalike audiences, when we're doing the social ads, they're typically our top 3 ad performances. So if you're not used to doing retargeting or lookalike audiences, you should, because it's really going to let you jump ahead real fast. Anyone doing retargeting? Retargeting? Retargeting, right now we're seeing all these ads, right? Black Friday, people are hitting us up when we abandon our carts. It's retargeting. Amazon, the only ads Amazon buys outside of Amazon are retargeting ads. So someone who goes to your site and does something valuable and they leave, you can set up retargeting with Google Analytics to go back and chase them again. Best performing by far for e-commerce and for all our other clients. So anyone, when it comes to conversions, this always kills. We dedicate at least 5 to 10% of all our clients' budgets just to retargeting. And it makes sense, right? They like you, they've been to your site, your friends. friends will come back and buy from you. So if you're not doing that now, it really, 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 really will help you out. Final thing, who knows that cookies are going to be dying this year? This year, 24? They were supposed to go last year and everyone freaked out, but it's a firm deal. Middle of this summer, so next year's session will probably be about life after cookies. What's the replacement to the cookie? Email. The old email is coming back in vogue. Even though it's really powerful for marketing one-on-one, getting someone's email address is huge. So if your site right now is not asking for emails, if you don't have a way for them to join up on something, add that to your site. Even if you don't use it, it's sitting there, you can use it later. Us as an agency, we'll take that email list and actually target those people on Facebook. We can build lookalike audiences from email addresses. And it gets powerful. You don't need more than like 1,000 emails for it to actually really start to impact your business. So if you're not doing email now, we really recommend that you do that. Okay, thus, oh, sorry.
On email, so I have customers that we collect emails, and if I want to send them a campaign or something, are there any legal issues with my account?
No, that's a good point. So the QR code I gave you from yesterday's conference talked about privacy policies. So before you get to that, everyone should have a privacy policy on their website. And that basically just says, if you give me your email address, you're allowing me to contact you. You're allowing me to use your email address to do marketing and learn about you and other people. And it's really, legally you don't have to do anything, you just have to declare it. Oh, I saw another hand. Yeah. If they use that email address to log into Facebook. You don't search for them, so you can't one-on-one. It has to be, I want to say it's about 1,000. I'm not exactly an expert. It has to be at least 1,000 that you put into Facebook and go, I want to target these people. But so you can't put like one email address in and then chase Jim all day long. It has to be like a group of people. LinkedIn, we do that a lot. So Digital Throttle, we use email addresses because most people on LinkedIn use their business email. So that's a way we do it. But the end of the cookie, I don't think that story's been written. When the cookie goes away, we're just going to find 100 ways to use email addresses. Email is actually considered personal information. It's in the same category as your credit card, your phone number, your social security. That's how valuable it is now in terms of like legal, not restrictions, but legal. Your email address is as important as your phone in terms of like identifiable information. Thus ends the geek section of it. I hope I didn't scare you off there. Any other questions on the tech stack of it? UTM, Universal Tracking Metric. So basically, Jack, I know you did this. Whoever bought print ads and like put unique 800 numbers on them? In the old days, when I was at Edelbrock, we'd buy an 800 number, and each number had a unique, was for hot rod, and we had different numbers. That's what a UTM is. A UTM is basically a way of saying, I clicked from this place, and I'm doing this on your site. So it adds extra code at the end. If you look here, anything after a question mark does nothing on your website other than talk to Google. So I could go to digitalthrottle.com, question mark, Brian is the worst presenter I've ever heard, and it won't do anything on the website. It'll just track that on Google Analytics. Google picks up, when you use their builder, it picks up on these IDs and it starts to bucket these people around. Once you see it in action, you're like, oh, that makes perfect sense. It's actually been around since the old analytics started 25 years ago. Any other geek questions? Okay. All right, online ad options, the fun stuff. So many choices. I wanted to give you that boring section at the beginning because with so many choices, you're just going to throw money out the window if you can't measure it. So that's the logic for putting that first. So let's talk about Google. Google is 88% of searches. Who right now runs Google search campaigns? Okay, just a few. You can target everything that I'm going to talk about in terms of ad options. You can do your tight geographic targeting. 10 miles around my shop, the state of Nevada, Lake Tahoe. You can make your targeting super narrow. So don't be afraid that, oh, search is complicated and it's only for big guys. You can make it small. 88% of your searches, I'll talk a little bit more about Google. YouTube, my personal favorite, our number one performing website for banners is youtube.com, by far. For this industry, it's incredible. Every time you see a video with a URL, you can target that video with a banner ad. So if you make dry sump pumps, really niche, right? You can find a bunch of videos that are talking about using dry sump pumps and late modified vehicles even, and target your banner just to those videos. Every time that video URL changes, that's technically a new website. So don't forget about the boring old banner on YouTube. We see click rates like above 1%. It's crazy. If you have video ads, you can run video ads on YouTube, even in a local market. If you want to get your ads seen on TV, YouTube TV, guys watching YouTube like me on their big TV, it's a TV commercial. It still works great. Banner ads, where I started off in the old world, they still do great. They don't get the clicks, they don't convert as well, but if you want to get your ads seen by just the sheer number of people, it's still the least expensive way of getting your ad out there. E-commerce clients, e-commerce companies, about a third of you, I think, raised your hand. Anyone doing Google Shopping or Performance Max? Got one. So this is something, what's great about Google, I'll talk about in a minute, they're getting really good at helping you automate a lot of this, and they'll do a lot of stuff for you automatically. It used to not be that way. So don't be afraid of some of these platforms. If you've looked at them before, they really have improved to where they do a lot of stuff for you. They'll even write your ad copy. So like with ChatGPT, right, that's the big thing. You can put in your website and they'll actually build some ad copy and you can edit it. So it's really not as difficult as it used to be. Okay, Google search. Did you know you could put images in Google search? Yeah, you can. So every search ad that we build, we include images. It doesn't appear all the time, but you can see I've got two ads, same company, one on the left, no image, one on the right, has a great image. So it works out great. You can't put your logo, it can't be like a banner ad. So in this case, it's Moto America Race Series. It's just a picture of motorcycle racing. So it's not like a banner where you can like promote yourself. It can just be maybe a picture of your building, a picture of your product. It can't be your logo and it can't have text, but it can still get attention. So, and it's free, right? And again, the trick with everything that I've got on the screen here is if you use all these free little things that Google lets you do, it makes your ad physically larger on the page and it gets noticed. That's the trick. All these little things just stack up to make your ad get big, 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 big. So now your ad is seen versus your competitor's ad, which is smaller. So you can put what's called site links on the bottom. You can put your phone number and actually program it for the hours and the days of the week you're open. It's a really good thing to do. You can do call-outs that always appear at the end of your ad, gives more text on there. And again, these are all free. You can register your company with Google, and it'll actually put your logo and your name at the top. So normally you wouldn't see that, but if you register, you get your logo, and then your company name appears at the top. More free stuff. So when you get it, if you're doing a search campaign, we've started to learn that. We're like, man, how come we're not doing all this stuff? And we just suddenly started, the click rates went crazy better. I would say another third to half better, 50% improvement, by just using these things because your ad stands out. Google's in the business of making money. They make money by showing lots of ads. So you got to find these little things that make your ad stand out more. Don't forget boring old Bing. Bing is about 12% of all the searches out there. Anyone heard of DuckDuckGo? I know they did a lot of ads. DuckDuckGo ads come from Bing. So if you want to be on DuckDuckGo, you set up a Bing account. A lot of people who aren't technically savvy, they buy a laptop from Costco. It comes pre-wired with that's not Internet Explorer anymore. What is it? Edge, thank you. I don't use it. It comes pre-installed with Bing. They don't know any better to download Chrome like us other people in the room. So it catches a lot of your less technical people, and it's easy. You set up a Bing account, you can actually connect it with Google. You put your campaign in Google, you connect it to Bing, and Bing will pull over everything you just did out of Google. And you can just set a different budget. It's typically about 15%. So if we spend $100 in search, $85 goes to Google, 15% go to Bing. And so you set that up, it's super easy, and you just now suddenly open it up. And here's the secret. Not every advertiser does this, so your cost per click is actually lower in Bing than it is in Google, because everyone does Google. Not everyone takes the extra effort to do Bing. So give it a try. For some of our clients, it's actually the better of the search engines in terms of click performance. So give it a try. Anyone using Bing? Oh, you raise your hand again. You get the prize today. Only one, two? Okay. Oh, not anymore? We actually think it's coming back. I think Microsoft's got an advantage on the AI thing, and we kind of see Microsoft jumping ahead a little bit on that. And I think a lot of people are just kind of tired of Google being such a, the big monster out there. I have a nephew who works for Google, so I have to be careful. The hardest thing with search is figuring out what to bid on. I gave you 3 recommendations on the right. The 2 on the left, SpyFu and SEMrush. Some of you guys might already use these. You can put in, you go to SpyFu for free. You put in your website, and it'll give you a list of keywords that they recommend. Better yet, put in your competitor's website, see what natural keywords are driving traffic to their website, and buy them. So if you are competition cams, you find a cam company that you want to compete against, you find out what natural SEO keywords are driving traffic to them, and you buy those. The number one thing that we do, the first thing we do for a company when we manage their search, is we find out who their competition is, and we try to steal their traffic. You just put the keyword in. You can actually buy the brand. That's a secret. So Holly can buy Edelbrock's brand name. You can't use their name in the ad, but you can buy their name all day long. So Holly can go in there and go, Edelbrock 2101 manifold. Used to work at Edelbrock, so I know these. And it's got a Holly part number listed. Doesn't have to, as long as it doesn't say Edelbrock, because that's trademark, you can buy your competitor's name all day long. We advertise for Digital Throttle. I buy keywords, Google Ads, SpyFu, SEMrush. We do some other things, but yeah, so you can use your competitors' names in your keywords. Easy, and it'll be like the best thing you do. And you'll spend all this time on everything else, and you'll keep coming back to that. That's why we listed it first. Do not repeat your own SEO keywords. If you are the number one guy for classic MG restoration, don't buy that keyword. They're going to come to you for free. Don't buy your own name. Don't put your own name and don't pay $1 for some guy to click on your ad when your natural SEO one is listed right below it. We see that a lot. Don't spend that money. And if you feel like you want to, set the bid really low. Google will give you an advantage. They'll let you actually pay less for your name than somebody else because they know it's you and they want you to spend more money with them. But don't set it and forget it. Monitor your keywords. Make sure that you keep an eye out. In Google and Bing both, there's an area that says what's searched, and you can see the search terms that come up. True story. We did an ad for a boating company, and there was a video of Beyonce, and I don't know who she's married to, but they were on a yacht, and we were selling yacht stabilizing systems. We got all these clicks from people looking for pictures of Beyonce in a bikini because we didn't monitor. It was something like, here she is on her stable yacht, and the keywords had stable, and so we got all these clicks for the client for people just looking for pictures of Beyonce in a bikini. So, had we been monitoring the keywords like we should have, it would have been done for a couple days, not a couple months. That's embarrassing. Okay, banners on YouTube. I mentioned that I love YouTube. These are examples of what the banners look like. On mobile, if you pull out your mobile phone and go to YouTube, they're typically just banners that look like in between the videos. If you're on desktop, they're actually usually in the upper right-hand corner. And they do great. And here's what's great about banners. And I'm beholding to banners because that's how I started off in this silly business. Back when they would still mail you AOL discs. Anyone know what a disc is? In Google, you can actually build your ad silly, easy. You can upload pictures and put your own ad copy in, and Google will kind of build your ad for you. So you don't have to have somebody build you banners. You can just go to Google and Bing, upload a square image, a vertical image, and a horizontal image, put in some ad copy that you want to appear, and Google will kind of mix and match all that ad copy. You can even tell it what color you want this to be at the bottom. So this is one of our clients, Alaska Raceway Park. And what's neat about Google is that they will mix and match all the different text and the different images, and they'll kind of learn which one clicks better than the other. So the boring old banner is not so hard to build anymore. The reason this works well, most of your banners are seen on mobile. So if you try to build mobile banners, they tend to be like itty-bitty little things. Google will actually make your banner on mobile look bigger because you've now let them kind of size it the way it should be sized. So they work really, really well on mobile. That's why banners in general are the cheapest type of advertising, because there's so many mobile views. But to get there, you need to use what's called responsive banners. We talk our clients out of building banners. We maybe have 2 that still insist on building their own banners. The rest of them, we make all their banners like this. Okay, e-commerce companies. Who's played with Performance Max or using it? A little bit. It is the new shiny object. So if you're an e-commerce company, what is Performance Max? Performance Max is, yesterday's stew. It's like yesterday's ingredient stew. It does everything. You put all of this stuff into Performance Max, and they will show their ad, your ad, wherever they want to help you on a conversion. So it's very decidedly e-commerce based. So they might show half your ads on search, 10% of your ads on YouTube, some banners, some shopping. They get to decide where and what type of ad shows up. And they do that, and they testing, and they start to figure out, oh, this type of ad got you the best sales. So this goes back to the boring stuff at the beginning. If you've set your site up correctly to measure sales, you plug that into Performance Max, and it becomes the smartest employee you own, because you employ. It's chugging and chugging and chugging, and it's learning. So Performance Max is, Google, I don't want to think, here's all my pieces, you do it for me, you go find my customers for me. Yeah. And Performance Max includes banners too. So if they know that you're kind of a truck person, and one of your ad combinations had the word truck in it, it'll show truck. Yeah. AI and this ChatGPT thing, that's actually been going on a long time in digital advertising. It's actually, there's a term for it called MarTech, M-A-R-T-E-C, marketing technology. A lot of the stuff that we see has actually been going on behind the scenes with Facebook and Google for a long time in terms of whom should see an ad, where should I show an ad, who should see the ad, how many times should they see the ad, what happens when they click on the ad. That stuff's been going for a long time, so it's already there. Performance Max is just putting all that together. So if you do e-commerce, we really recommend that you use Performance Max. Think of it as your one-stop way to get e-commerce sales out of it. I'm going to shift out of Google Bing. Any last questions on Google? Cool. All right, social media. So like I mentioned, half of our budget goes to social media. If you're an e-commerce company, it probably won't. It'll be maybe 20%, and the rest will go to Google and Bing. But in general, for our branded clients that sell things a little bit everywhere, half of their budget goes to social media. Social media, you have Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. That's what everyone's known for. But we're starting to see good results with Reddit. We're starting to see better results with Pinterest. Snapchat is really young. So unless you're selling people that are really young, and I've got some slides showing the age on that, but I wanted you to kind of see what all these logos mean up there. I didn't intentionally put Facebook at the end. They still are the monster in terms of clicks and where things go. Twitter X. I call it Twitter X, but that's the X. Yeah. So, social media. What have we learned? Social posting is not advertising. Resist the temptation to push the boost my post button. You will pay a lot more doing that than if you set up a business manager account, which everybody can, and buy ads that way. Resist the temptation to boost a post. You can still take yesterday's awesome post of you smiling in front of PRI. You can still take that post and turn it into an ad. Resist the temptation to, that blue button is so darn easy. That blue button buys a lot of jets from Mark Zuckerberg. Resist the temptation. Fight the machine. Here's an example of ads from left to right here. And I got to put my glasses on again. So, one thing that we get asked a lot is, should I do static or video? Right now, static images actually get a better click rate for us than video, believe it or not. So don't feel like to do social media advertising, you have to go crazy on hiring someone to build a lot of ads for you. This is the same event, same ads in different platforms. You can kind of see they're the same. The main thing, and I've got this on the lessons learned, make square images. That's the number one thing you can do. Always have your images in square shape, and they'll pretty much fit wherever you want. You can go beyond that, like if you want to do reels and all this kind of stuff, you can go beyond. But if you just want to get rolling, have all your images or your videos made square, and that's enough to get you 85% of the way there. So if you kind of go from left to right here, we've got your Facebook ad, same ad. In this case for Instagram, we wanted video. Instagram, we still kind of feel video works there because it's more of a video-based platform. It doesn't have to be. TikTok, hard to build an ad for these because they overlay it with so many stuff, as you can see. So you make this great ad, and then there's all these buttons running down the right, and there's text on the bottom, and stuff at the top. Sometimes it gets a little frustrating for the creative types because TikTok just throws a bunch of stuff over the top there. Like I mentioned, Reddit. Reddit is kind of a growing category for us. There's a lot of Reddit groups out there. We do a fair amount like in the van and RV markets, and there's a lot of Reddit forums on help and tips. There's also a lot of racing Reddit forums. Guys that are racing very specific oddball kind of vehicles, they'll set up a Reddit forum and just talk amongst themselves. And then finally, Twitter. Twitter is a very poor click platform, but if you're trying to reach fans and enthusiasts who follow racers and sports personalities like racers, it's really a good place to be. In your local market, it might work really well. If you're a race shop, you can target people who follow NASCAR, NHRA, IHRA, Chili Bowl. In your market, this is where they follow their favorite people and racers. Don't expect a lot of clicks, but it's really good branding. We do it a lot for our racetracks and our race organizations. Just because of that, it's really where you follow professional athletes and their organizations. Creative lessons learned. So what have we learned about ad copy? Square image or video. And by the way, I really dislike that ad on the left. The client insists on it. To me, it's too busy. But it gets clicked on, and I think it gets clicked because of the text, so we're in argument. We would prefer, kind of going back to the far right, I would rather run a simple image and their complicated image, and then beers to whoever gets the better click rate. So that's kind of, if you go to the right, we suggest you always have at least 2 ads running, if not 3. You will see a difference, the red ad versus the green ad versus the busy ad and the non-busy ad. And I'm glad Jeff's not in here to hear me critique his ad. The other thing is, like I mentioned, video's not essential. Static image will do just fine. And remember, it's a mobile world. Most, especially on social, all your ads are going to be seen on a handheld. It doesn't have to be beautiful resolution, perfect. Everyone's going to see it. It's going to be 2.5 inches wide. You don't have to go crazy on it. The number one thing, and this goes for all advertising, talk about the benefits of your product. As proud as we are that our product's made of the best aluminum and the latest machinery and the beautiful building, customers don't care. What is it going to do for me? When you've got seconds to catch somebody's attention, tell them what that product or your service or your shop does for them. Best prices, guaranteed for life, 50 more horsepower, whatever it might be. In your text and in your imagery, always, always, always talk about the benefits. Probably my biggest pet peeve. I came from Edelbrock, where we grew up in print world, and in your print ad, you talked about this thing was made on a Haas 1, 2, 3, 4, blank, 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 and you were so proud of how this thing was designed and engineered. The guy's like, I don't care, but you had all this space, so then you could talk about the benefits. You can't do that in digital advertising. You've got a couple seconds to make somebody curious, then get them to click on your ad and get more on your site. So always keep that word in mind, curious. One thing that people always forget about social, people can comment on your social ads. This particular client ran this ad for 1 week. They had 182 comments. We monitored those comments. Some of the comments were, "You suck, I hate you." Yeah, and you can hide them, right? You can block that person also from ever seeing your ad before. We do social ads every now and then for Harley Davidson. Those people are, they will tattoo the logo of Harley Davidson on their arm and their forehead, but man, they see an ad they don't like or they're unhappy. Wow, it's crazy. I had to review the ads myself because I was worried the foul language. I thought we were going to get sued. Our employee was going to sue us. It was bad. I'm scaring you because monitor your comments. Yeah.
I know this is especially exciting with Reddit and whatnot. I've seen some sites trying to do a thing where you can disable comments. Is that widespread yet, or is that still?
We leave them on because more than not, the comments are positive and they are, I love this product. Oh, I put one on last year, I like it. And when you disable comments, you're almost like telling people, yeah, we don't want you to hear about us. Yeah. It's like me up here, wearing a mask, so. Anyways, don't forget about your comments. They could bite you, they could help you. One of the things we do is we go in and thank people. Hey, thank you, so glad you like those tires. Okay, gonna get into some stats, but I think you'll like this piece. So, when you're talking about who should I advertise to, this is a breakdown of the popularity, the percentage of the population, and male versus female. I highlighted in green things I think you'll be interested in. Okay? Twitter is very male, almost 2/3 male. Reddit and Pinterest are largely female. And just in terms of where the volume is, you can see just the percentage of the population. Facebook, we call the QVC of digital. It is where people click and buy a lot of stuff. It's older. Guess what? Older people tend to have more money than young people. So you might think, Facebook's for old people. Yeah, old people have money. Put their kids through college, they got a house, they have money. So don't ignore it. Okay, prediction. Next year when I get to stand up here, luckily, I think you will see that your social, if you do e-commerce, you will see a big rush in setting up your e-commerce store inside of Facebook, inside of TikTok, and people buying directly through that platform as opposed to your own website. TikTok just announced this like in the last couple weeks. So literally, it's like the old AOL world where you stayed inside of AOL. You now can just click from the ad to the Facebook page and buy the product directly through Facebook. You still get the order. I predict this is going to grow, and more. So for you e-commerce guys in here, e-commerce companies, I would look into setting up a Facebook or TikTok store. The other thing for you e-commerce companies, there are a lot of places to sell your product. They all require a product feed. Use a third-party feed company. There's a link down there to a website that talks about the companies that will help you automate your feed. So like one in that's popular in our world is Channel Advisor. You basically set up your data into them, and then once you've got it really nice in Channel Advisor, if you set up an eBay store, you press a button, it goes to eBay. You want to set up a Walmart store, press a button, it goes to Walmart. You set up your Facebook store, press a button, you get the point. So otherwise, you got your spreadsheets and you're managing this for everybody. Yep.
So I buy from a couple of different websites, and some of those websites don't have a CVS file. So I'm stuck kind of copy and pasting from their website. Is
I do know that like some of the distributors will, if you become an account, like if you're a dealer with like MotorState or Keystone, they actually have programs where they will get you raw data feeds. Does anyone know that better than I do? There's ways to get it.
There was one I seen, but it was kind of sketchy, basically it just bombards their site with things and this and that, and
Yeah.
either do it after midnight, blah, 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 and I'm like, yeah.
Oh dear, I don't know.
Don't seem right.
Yeah, but what's nice is that if you're managing your feed with one of these partners, and trust me, there'll be 5 more places to sell your parts next year, the barrier to get started with those guys will be a lot less, because the last thing we all want to do is take this spreadsheet, come over here and manipulate it to make it work. I think they even do things like image resizing. Does anyone use services like this? What?
I work with a lot of those companies, and yeah, you can pull it from them, but also you can get Data Co-op has a lot.
Oh, thank you, I forgot about that.
They have like 500 brands, does that sound about right?
Yeah,
They
it's,
have to massage it, and some of those companies will do it for you, but that would be my first stop is to do that.
that was SEMA Data Co-op. Question? Yeah. But what you want to do is get all that work and make sure it's in a system that you can use. And it's being ready for growth that's going to be key. Okay, I'll go fast. We're getting towards the end here. User social by age. I gave you kind of the age breakdowns. Some of these don't measure below 18, so that's why it's empty. But in green, I kind of called out the outliers in terms of percentage of population. We're getting close. Other digital options. I'm going to go fast. CTV and OTT, or YouTube. If you want to get started in streaming television, start with YouTube. It's a lot easier. Your existing Google Ads account will allow you to do it. You don't have to break the bank on a video. They will know that your video is not a big resolution, so they will only show it on smaller devices. So if you want to get started with CTV, some kind of video television experience, try YouTube. And then finally, streaming audio, Spotify, Pandora, podcasts, love them. The problem is there's just not a lot of audio breaks, so you won't have a lot of ad opportunities. They don't work well in small markets. So we do it a little bit, but they're out there. What's nice is that they'll actually record your commercial for you, so it's a nice thing to do. Finally, I promised you pricing. For the people who left, they miss out. If you want to spend $1,000, on average, this is what you can expect on estimated views, estimated clicks. And the estimated clicks, it varies. If you give somebody something for free, they will click. So this is an average, but we get asked this a lot. As you can see, in terms of having your ad seen, the boring old banner, for $1,000, you can have more than 250,000 people see your ad. Social, it's about 100,000 people. So you can see, though, it's not crazy expensive. The best thing that's happened to small businesses, the price of marketing has gone down and down and down. Everything else has gone up, but the price to reach people digitally, that's actually helped. Insurance goes up like this, your marketing Google costs go down. So it's actually the one thing for a business that's decreased in time. That is it. I finished right on time. Thank you so much. Any final questions? I will stay here or fire away. Thank you for joining.